It is just a terrifying moment. One minute, everything's totally normal, and then the next, you look over and something is just wrong with your dog. You start frantically retracing their steps, checking the garbage, and then you see it, the corner of that brownie wrapper, or the stash they somehow got into, and your heart just plummets. So we're going to walk through exactly what's happening to your best friend and what you need to do right now.
Right now, you might be seeing some really bizarre behaviors. Maybe they're walking like they're completely drunk, just stumbling all over the place. Or maybe they have this dazed, glassy-eyed look. They seem super sleepy, but then the smallest sound makes them jump out of their skin. It's so confusing to watch, I know. But believe it or not, these are classic signs.
And if this is happening to you, I want you to know one thing. You are absolutely not alone, seriously. As cannabis has become more common, poison control centers have seen calls about pets getting into it go up by more than 400%. This is a surprisingly common accident.
Okay, so let's get into the why. Why does this hit our dogs so much harder than it would a person? Well, the answer is actually wired right into their brain chemistry.
What we're really talking about here is something called marijuana toxicity. And it's basically a bad reaction to THC, which, is the main ingredient in cannabis that causes the psychoactive effects.
So, why is the reaction so extreme in dogs? Well, it all comes down to a really simple difference in our brains. Think of it like this. Your dog's brain has way more landing pads for THC to dock onto. They're called cannabinoid receptors. Since they have so many more of these than we do, when THC gets into their system, the effect is just so much more dramatic and widespread. What might be a small amount for a person can be a massive toxic dose for a dog.
By far, the most common way this happens is when they eat something, especially edibles. Brownies, gummies, they smell delicious, and our dogs just don't know any better. The most dangerous things we see are edibles made with that concentrated THC butter, because the dose can be incredibly high. But they can also get sick just from eating the plant itself, or even from inhaling a lot of secondhand smoke.
Okay, so what exactly should you be looking for? Knowing these specific signs will help you give your vet the best information so we can help your buddy fast.
So, based on research from hundreds of actual cases, vets see a really clear pattern. The number one sign by a long shot is what we call ataxia. That's just the clinical term for that drunk, wobbly walking. Next up is hyperesthesia, which is that extreme jumpy reaction to sound and touch. And then number 3 is just profound lethargy or sleepiness. Those 3 are the huge red flags we look for.
Now, beyond those big 3, there are a few other really distinct clues. And honestly, one of the most telling signs is uncontrollable urine dribbling. It's a very specific symptom of this kind of toxicity. You'll also see those big, dilated, glassy eyes and that confused expression. Some dogs might throw up, and if it's a really bad case, you could even see some tremors or shaking.
Okay, you've seen the signs, and you know you need to call the vet. But I know what a lot of you are thinking right now. Am I going to get in trouble for this? Let's just clear the air on that right away.
Please hear this. Your vet's one and only goal is to help your pet get better. That's it. We are not connected to law enforcement. We're not required to report these accidents. We just want to see your dog happy and healthy again.
Look, being honest about what happened is the absolute fastest and best way to help your dog. When you tell us you think they got into marijuana, we can jump straight to the right kind of supportive care. If you don't tell us, we have to start thinking about other scary things like antifreeze poisoning or even a brain tumor. And that means running a bunch of expensive tests, which delays treatment and just adds so much stress and cost for you.
The whole process at the clinic is really straightforward. You'll give us the story of what happened, we'll do a good physical and neurological exam to see how they're doing, and then we'll get started on supportive care to keep them safe and comfortable while this works its way out of their system.
And now for the part you really want to hear about, getting better. The good news here, the really good news, is that even though the symptoms look terrifying, the outlook for these guys is excellent.
In that same big study of over 200 dogs that were treated by a vet for this, the survival rate was 100%. Fatalities are incredibly rare, and they almost always happen when there's another toxin involved, like the chocolate or the artificial sweetener xylitol in an edible. With just a little bit of help, they get through this.
So here's a pretty standard timeline. The signs usually pop up within about an hour and a half. The symptoms will get to their worst over the next several hours, and then, with a little support, most dogs are completely back to their goofy, normal selves within about 1 to 3 days.
Now, there's no magic antidote for this, so our job is all about supportive care.
That means things like IV fluids to keep them hydrated and help their body flush the toxin out. We might give them medication to stop any vomiting, and we'll keep a close eye on their heart rate and temperature. And just as important, we give them a safe, quiet, calm place to rest, away from a lot of stimulation while their body does the work.
So, you've made it through a really stressful experience. Your dog is feeling better, and you can finally breed again. What is the single most important lesson we can take away from all this? It really all comes down to prevention. You have to treat these products just like you would any strong prescription medication. Store them somewhere safe and secure. A high cabinet, a locked drawer, anywhere a curious nose and paws can't reach. And remember, those edibles are designed to be tasty, so they are the biggest risk. And of course, just be mindful of secondhand smoke and make sure there's good ventilation.
And that truly is the bottom line. Taking just a few simple steps to pet-proof your home can prevent this entire scary, stressful, and expensive situation from ever happening in the first place.
This whole experience is a powerful reminder, right? So just think about your own home for a second. What's one small change you can make today to make sure your best friend stays safe from this or any other household danger? Remember, this information is for educational purposes and is not a substitute for professional veterinarian advice. If you have any concerns about your pet's health, please consult with your certified veterinarian. They are your best resource for ensuring your companion lives a long, happy, and healthy life.